Hello everybody and welcome to What's in the Box. Today I am having a look at the Fallout Factions Nuka-World 2-player starter set from the folks over at Modiphius. This is one that I am really excited about because I love me some Fallout. Let's get stuck in. Okay, so we have our box, lovely artwork on the front, and if we flip over to the back, we can see everything we're getting in the box. We're getting absolutely everything we need to play, from rules, gang sheets, all of our terrain, our miniatures, our dice, all of our tokens. But let's crack it open and actually start getting a look at what we're getting inside. Really heavy-duty cardboard, so very happy with that. Okay, first things first, we have our starter set rulebook. This has absolutely everything in here. So from basic rules to your gang's actual stats, if I flip through, we've got all of our scenarios. So we have our faction list, we have our weapon lists. So everything really nice in there, really nice and thematic. And this is something I like. So you have a little Appendix 3, your weapons of the wasteland. So you actually get a good visual on what each of the weapons is. Digging further down, we get a token sheet. Really heavy duty cardboard. This is like 4mm card, which is really good. So we have our different tokens. So we have our little search points, which can turn into radioactive points. We have our harm tokens. These, as you're playing through, more of these you have on you, the worse it is for you, because when someone's attacking you, they'll get bonus dice for each of those. We have our fatigue tokens. The game itself runs off of a system where every action you take gives you a fatigue token. You can have up to 2. You have your ploy tokens. So these are like little extra spicy things you can do during your games. We have our initiative token and our turn tracker token as well here. And these, which I'll assume, are just objective tokens. Further down, we get 3 sheets of our cardboard terrain. I like how heavy the cardboard terrain is, and it feels like, well, there you see it, punches out, not a problem. Really, really nice. So I'll get some of that built in a little while. We then have our gang sheets. We get 2 of these, 1 for each. You can also download a PDF of these from the Modiphius website. So on one side, you've got what's happening story-wise for your crew, and flipping over, you've got space for all of your different characters. Basically, you'll fill it out and just say who it is, what their special is, what weapons they're carrying, what type of weapon it is, what you need to roll, what its traits and critical effects are, and then your points rating on the far side. So we'll move that out of the way. Ooh. We have what appears to be a big poster. Ooh, very nice. So this is one of those classic images from the Nuka-Cola or Nuka-World expansion. It's the big Nuka Girl poster. Nice. Flipping it over, you'll see this actually doubles up as a play mat. So if you don't have any gaming mats yourself, this will do you not a problem. Now, your gaming space is 2 foot by 3 foot. I like having things like that in the box, just makes it easier to play. Now, if I can get this folded up nice and neat, because I don't want to ruin it, because we'll probably need it if we do a Let's Play. Now, in the box, we can see we have this little bit of clear plastic, which separates all of our paperwork from the more spiky bits, so our miniatures. And speaking of miniatures, we get 4 sprues in the box. So this is our pact. We can see we've got things like our flamer here, our Deathclaw gauntlet here. We've got some shotguns and stuff going on. We've got some, handmade rifles and stuff. Stat lines on these are really, really easy because all you're doing with these is you're rolling whatever it's telling you to as a dice pool, measuring against whatever the special stat it says is, and you're trying to roll under that. So that's our first sprue for the pact. Our second one, we've got more of our bodies, our legs, lots of baseball bats. I think baseball bats are kind of a theme for this faction. Get in and hammer them with some melee. We've also got some more rifles on here, bodies down here, some additional bits as well. And then for our other faction, we can see you're getting 10 miniatures per side. Although whenever I built the 2 gangs, I believe the operators only have 9. But we've got some 10mm pistols in here. I think there's even a plasma pistol kicking about, which is going to be a lot of fun. We've got some scoped rifles going on, combat rifles going on. You've also got things like this, which are little additional flavor pieces to put onto your base. And then our last one, Again, more bodies. Really, really nice sculpts on these. Some of the details are maybe just a little bit on the soft side. If I had to pick something, it's just some of the details aren't as crisp as I would really want them to be, but not bad. So in here we're seeing things like our missile launcher. Obviously, I have to put that in. We've got our shish kebab, and this is the sprue with our plasma pistol just here. Last bits of the box. We get our dice. So we've got our regular dice and we've got our lucky dice. One of the key things in this is whenever you're making an attack, you'll be rolling lucky dice, and any of those that succeed generate an extra dice. So it's showing those lucky shots, and if any of them hit, you'll start to get your critical effects off your weapons. We also get, ooh, lovely, we get a little tape measure. I like it whenever they add something like this, because if you're just starting out and you don't have a tape measure, it can be so annoying to just have to go out and get one. And then last but not least, obviously, we have our bases. So there it is. Okay, let's finish up by having a look at the built miniatures and some of the terrain. So we have our little walkways. There's two things we can do with these. And we have our lovely little buildings. I have done a Nuka stand for this one, but if you look inside, you'll see it is double-sided, which is very nice. We also have something a little bit Wild Westy. And these go together really easy. I'm not sure about having this on the back though. It's not perfect, but it's still nice to have a full set of terrain in the box. We then also have our walkways can be turned into ramps, which is very handy. And then we obviously get some of our little incidental pieces as well. Right, let's grab the miniatures. Let's start with the Pact. Now, if I've done this right, I should have these in order. So this is our leader. He is an alpha with a 10mm pistol and a Deathclaw gauntlet. I've built out the forces in what I think should be a very interesting loadout. We then have one of our 3 champions that were allowed at the beginning. So our first one, obviously, give him a flamer. Bit of warmth, yummy goodness. He can cook something when he's out and about in the theme park. Our next one, if I just check my list, is Sledgehammer and Predator grenades. The details on these are pretty nice. I'm not sure if I'm 100% with it being true scale, but I think these are going to paint up really, really nicely. Our third and final top dog, who is our champions, is armed with a handmade rifle and a baseball bat. You do get a good number of options in the box, and I'm very, very happy with how everything went together. Heads were a little fiddly, but you know, that's just working with true skill. Let's get on to some of our grunts. So our first one is a scaver with a sawed-off shotgun, and I did 2 scavers like this, just for the simple fact that I think having 2 people running around with shotguns is going to be a lot of fun. And also we have one in a rather interesting pose jumping over a little bit of terrain, which I thought was quite cool. Next up, we have a Psycho. And our Psycho is running Sledgehammer, because Sledgehammers are absolutely brutal. We then have another Psycho. This one I give just a light rifle. So light handmade rifle specifically. Just, I think it's a bit of range that I can throw out there if I'm playing this side. I tried to keep both sides reasonably balanced. And then our last 2, we have 2 more scavers who I gave handmade rifles to. And I think this is going to be a light, fun, fast one to play, and points-wise, this actually came out to the exact 250 reputation that you're allowed for a starting faction. Now on to the operators. So for our boss, who's our leader, I gave him plasma pistol and the ever-popular shish kebab. I really wanted to try some of the more specialized things in this. I didn't want to build anything that was just pure meta. So I've done things like this just for my own personal amusement. We then have our champions, who are called Made Men. First one, missile launcher, which is just going to be, you know, good time in a can, boom, boom. Our next one, I give just a straight up combat rifle to. I think having someone who's a bit better with a gun, with a better range, is going to make for some interesting situations whenever people run out and about. One thing I have noticed, the charisma stat in this game also allows folks to activate multiple people at the same time, which is quite interesting. Now, this one I gave the Syringer to. It's a classic Fallout weapon, and I think it's going to be amusing to see it on the tabletop. After that, it was time to add in some chaff. So I built 3 wasters, and each of them just have a 10mm pistol and a little hand weapon. So these are basically our dungers. They're super cheap. They'll fill out slots, but they're good for maybe doing a little bit of supporting fire. And then last 2, I did us a Psycho with a shotgun, which I think is just very amusing because Psycho's just going to run forward and go skaboom boom. And then lastly, I went with a scaver and I gave them straight up combat rifle. Now, I did have to model this one slightly differently, so they have a hand weapon as well, but I think it has all worked out pretty nicely. Now, you'll notice the other side only has 9 people in the faction because I did do some of those more interesting options, which made them just that little bit more expensive. You can build 10 aside in the box. Right, that'll be the lot then. Okay, so there we have it. You get everything you need to play in the box. I've had a good flip through the rules. They look solid, clean, and really streamlined. I love some of the little mechanics that James M. Hewitt's put in there, so it's definitely one for you guys to go and check out. I'm going to go on here, I'm going to get stuck into painting them, and hopefully I can convince one of the guys to jump on camera for a bit of a Let's Play. I'll move on. I'll see you again soon.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.